A young 34-year-old man served 10 years in the U.S. Army. He dedicated his life to saving and protecting millions of Americans that he doesn't know. He battled day and night, saw things that we could not even imagine, and then one day, boom, there it goes, an explosion. It has caused him and his team to suffer. 2 of his soldiers have lost their lives. He, lucky to survive, but he does not feel the same. Now he is back home with his 18-year-old daughter and his wife, and he has to live with all that he has seen and done, the loss of his soldiers, and a debilitating disorder, PTSD. His daughter, Samantha, is a valedictorian and is about to graduate high school. She is Daddy's little girl. He is her hero. She is about to walk on stage and present the most important speech of her life in front of 1,000 people. However, Daddy isn't there. Daddy can't be there. He is her hero, and he can't be there to watch her magical moment, all because of PTSD. Hello, my name is Sarah Carver, and I am here today to persuade to you that America's retired veterans need access to medical marijuana to help them cope with the symptoms of PTSD. I am honored to say that I am the future wife of a retired veteran, and I have seen the wonderful effects that medical marijuana has done to my fiancé, as well as the battles that it has helped him to overcome. Soldiers have given up their lives that they once knew to fight for their country. The amount of anxiety, panic, and distress that they suffer from now because of what they endured overseas is forever with them. Any possibilities of helping to make their new life more manageable should be considered and given to them as a possibility. During this speech, I will illustrate the problem of many veterans suffer from PTSD and the problems that treatment with pharmaceuticals come with, the reason why so many suffer, and some possible solutions for American veterans to transition back to a new life without suffering and being able to be a part of their loved ones' lives. PTSD is a disorder that affects hundreds of thousands of soldiers and even more that go undiagnosed. When it comes to PTSD, there are 4 different symptoms. According to the U.S. Department of Veteran Affairs, the 4 types are reliving the event, avoiding situations that remind them of the event, having negative changes in beliefs and feelings, and feeling keyed up or always on the lookout for danger. I know that my fiancé suffers from all 4. Nightmares of reliving the event, avoiding watching movies such as American Sniper. It took him a while for him to fully open up to me and for him to trust me fully. And he has to sit in certain positions in restaurants and ceremonies or any sort of meetings so that he can assess any person that walks in near him to make sure that they are not of danger. According to LiveScience.com, 30% of veterans from the Vietnam War suffer from PTSD, such as this chart shows here. According to VeteransandPTSD.com, as of September 2014, there are about 2.7 million soldiers of Iraq and Afghanistan wars, the American veterans, that is, and at least 20% of those soldiers have PTSD. That is a number of 540,000 soldiers. The number I just mentioned does not include soldiers that have traumatic brain injuries, which is about 19% of veterans, and this can be associated with PTSD. An organization that goes by the name of RWB, or Red, White, and Blue, is responsible for bringing veterans, families, and others from this community with shared experiences in 115 communities across the globe. According to RWB, the VA estimates that there are nearly 400,000 untreated and undiagnosed cases of PTSD. Vice magazine is a worldwide organization reporting on multitudes of different content across the country. According to an article written by T-Kid in 2015, the Department of Veteran Affairs fights PTSD with a tightly scheduled cocktail of benzodiazepines, opiates, antidepressants, and mood enhancers. However, on top of those different medications, they each come with different side effects that causes sleep disturbance, anxiety, and even suicidal thoughts. And some of those same effects are of PTSD, which are supposed to be getting treated. It's a frightening spider web of strong drugs. In 2008, 11% of service members even reported misusing those prescription drugs. And most of those drugs are the opioid pain medications, according to the National Institute of Drug Abuse. Now that we understand the problems of PTSD and the treatment of using pharmaceuticals to treat that, let's take a quick look at just the cause of PTSD. The causes of PTSD have a high range, but it ultimately comes down to one's life experiences. Post-traumatic stress disorder can develop when an individual is involved in an event that threatens their safety or makes them feel hopeless, such as rape, murder, suicide, seeing your friend in a car crash, or war. There's many reasons. According to an article written by Melinda Smith and Gene Siegel in April 2015 on helpguide.org, most people associate PTSD with battle-scarred soldiers and military combat in men, and that's the most common cause for PTSD in men. These ladies also mentioned that PTSD for a veteran is a gradual, ongoing process, and the memories of the trauma that they endured will forever be with them. Now that we have talked about the causes of PTSD, let's discuss an effective possible solution that all veterans with PTSD should have available to them. The American government should allow our American veterans to have the option to have access to cannabis as a treatment for PTSD symptoms. According to the article in Vice magazine that I mentioned earlier, Dr. Suzanne Sisley, who is a PTSD researcher, is studying the effects of cannabis for PTSD. She quotes, "I'd have them, veterans, on 10 to 12 different pharmaceutical meds, and these veterans would be completely useless because they were so riddled with side effects and drug interactions. If there could be a single plant that could byrade the entire myriad of PTS symptoms, that would be an incredible breakthrough." A study conducted by the New Mexico Medical Cannabis Program from 2009 to 2011 found that out of 80 psychiatric evaluations, 75% of them had their scores of what their PTSD symptoms lowered because they were using cannabis. The conclusion of that study is that cannabis is associated with reducing PTSD symptoms. Of course, most people think that cannabis is considered an illegal drug and that it is dangerous and that it should not be allowed to be readily available for those that need it. However, more than 20 states now allow cannabis to be used for medical reasons, with 10 states and Guam having doctors readily available to authorize the use of medical marijuana for PTSD, according to an article written in 2015 by Sam Collins on thinkprocess.org. Today, I have mapped out the problem American veterans face with PTSD and pharmaceutical drugs, the simple causes of PTSD, and the solution that medical marijuana could offer our veterans for diminishing their symptoms of PTSD and not causing new side effects. I hope that I've persuaded you that the different options for treating the symptoms of PTSD need to be looked at and reevaluated. I have seen from firsthand that medical marijuana helped my fiance go from sleeping all day and not being able to function to being able to function and live as normal as possible for his new life after war, and to even be able to enroll in college, which is very hard for veterans to do. PTSD is like living under a pile of bricks, and each brick represents one symptom that you have to go through. Loud noises, being in crowds, anxiety, so many more. Medical marijuana has helped him to be able to lift one brick at a time off of his shoulder. He is finally on the right track to gain a college degree and take care of his family as he feels needs that he needs to, because he chose medical marijuana over taking 10 to 12 different pharmaceuticals. A quote by Peter Weiss: "Once and for all, the idea of glorious victories won by the glorious armies must be wiped out. Either side is glorious. On either side, they're just frightened men messing their pants, and they all want the same thing, not to lie under the earth, but be able to walk upon it, and not with crutches." Thank you.